Okay, we're back.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're stepping into the shadows of the official record. We're looking at The Hymn by Jackson and Howard, and we're following a thread that most history books tried to cut out of the narrative: the idea that human progress isn't just a series of accidents, but a directed evolution guided by, well, let's call them angelic architects.
And by shadows, you mean the parts of history that make people uncomfortable. The parts that suggest we've been being managed from the outside for millennia.
Manage? That sounds like a corporate HR seminar, Seth. Welcome to the Cosmic Office. Here's your handbook for the Age of Aquarius.
Not quite, Paco. It's much more visceral. We're starting right in the middle of a journey. The authors take us to a Yazidi temple built right into a mountainside. And there's the specific image, a black snake standing on its tail carved into the stone.
A snake on its tail. Great. We're starting with a classic bad omen vibe.
But here's the twist when the traveler, Sibruk, asks about it. The answer isn't danger. The answer is, this is a symbol of wisdom.
See, that's where I get nervous. It's that immediate tension between what we're taught is evil and what these traditions claim is knowledge.
And then it gets even more forbidden for the mainstream. The text mentions a tomb of a Sufi saint, someone seen as the embodiment of the peacock angel Melek Taus. And then, and this is the part that always gets the censors riled up, the author explicitly mentions how people dismiss the Yazidis as devil worshippers.
Because they follow a prince of darkness, right? It's the easiest label to slap on anything you don't understand.
Exactly. But the authors are trying to reframe that darkness. They move from the Yazidi temple to the Hebrew tradition, specifically looking at Raziel. Now, look at how they phrase this. They call him the sacred angel responsible for divine mysteries. The very name, Razim, literally means secrets.
I love that. It's more than a name. It's a function, the secret giver.
But look at the lineage they trace. It's messy. It's not some clean celestial descent. They claim these secrets of the Kabbalah were passed from God to angels, then to Adam and Eden. But then, the fallen angels took human wives and passed the secrets down to the children of the earth.
So the foundation of all this sacred magic is actually a cosmic scandal? A divine leak?
Precisely. A leak involving the lineage of Seth, Enoch, and eventually Solomon. It's a pedigree of transgression.
It's also a pedigree of information. They're saying the forbidden part isn't just the act, it's the data. The book of the origin of man brought by Raziel.
It's interesting, though, how they pivot from the scandalous origin to something much more structured. They start looking at the linguistics, the Greek angelos, the Persian angeros, and then they land on this incredibly rigid, almost mathematical hierarchy. The 9 ranks from Pseudo-Dionysus.
Right. And they don't just list them, they assign them jobs. It's like a cosmic bureaucracy. Seraphim contemplate God's order. Cherubim contemplate his essence. And then you get the governments acting as Devian architects.
So even the heavens have a middle management layer? I'm in charge of planning what the thrones will actually do?
It sounds absurd, but the authors tie it back to something much deeper. They argue these aren't just titles, these ranks are the drivers of our consciousness. They are the bridge between the natural and the divine.
Wait, let me stop you there because this is where it gets heavy. The text says these angelic forces aren't just out there, they are reflected in our very psyche. They are the higher links in the chain of our ability to reason.
It's religion and psychology. They're saying your intellect is actually a reflection of the middle angelic ranks.
Exactly. And it peaks at the highest level, mains, or the perfect mind. The state where you are totally one with the divine.
Which sounds lovely, but also incredibly high pressure. Like, get it right or you're just a leaf in the wind.
But the authors use a quote from Pico della Mirandola to ground it. He says that humans have this magical potential to choose who we become. If we cultivate the sensory, we become animals. If we cultivate the rational, we become celestial.
It's a self-help claim, but with much higher stakes. Become an angel. Or stay a beast.
A bit dramatic, don't you think?
Maybe. But they bring it all back to the very beginning of the passage, the Yazidis and the peacock angel. They interpret the term Melek Taus not as devil worship, but as a formula for spiritual renewal. The expansion of the mind, the greening of the earth.
So, the dark symbol of the snake on its tail? It's actually just a metaphor for the expansion of the psyche?
That's the claim. They use this Gnostic classification to show where we are. There's the Hylikos, the material man. People stuck in the sleep of materialism driven by ads, politics, and the fluff of the modern world.
The herd mentality. That's a bit of a sting, isn't it?
It's a harsh critique. But then there's the Psychikos, the psychied man. Someone who is awakened enough to catch flashes of gnosis. They aren't there yet, but they're no longer asleep.
So we're essentially navigating a hierarchy of waking up. From a person who is basically a walking shopping mall to a person who can actually perceive the divine architects.
I'll settle for just getting through the day without my skin peeling off like a mummy.
Haha, we'll leave the physical transformations for another episode. But the idea remains, are we just biological accidents, or are we part of a much larger, much more directed design? Alright, let's ground ourselves. We just talked about the Hylikos, the material, the shopping mall people. But the book is moving into something much more intense. It's describing the next stage.
The psychikos. The psychic man.
Right. The text says this stage is characterized by an alchemical element, sulfur. It's the spark that starts to differentiate itself from the sleeping multiplicity of the world.
Sulfur. Always with the burning. Sounds like my sunburn from last week.
But it's a metaphor for drive, Paco. It's the part of us that seeks liberation from the chains of materialism. And then it hits this peak. The authors describe the pneumaticos, the numinous man.
And here we go. The God mode of human evolution.
Look at how they phrase this. They call it a state where realization of gnosis becomes inseparable from original bliss. They say this person has moved beyond illusory limitations and belongs entirely to the world of pure intellect.
Beyond all worldly standards of good and evil. That's a heavy claim. To be so pure that morality as we know it doesn't even apply?
That sounds like a recipe for being a total sociopath, honestly. I'm not being mean, Emily. I'm just beyond good and evil.
Well, the authors argue it's not about being bad, it's about being liberated. They use the term apollustrosis, liberation or redemption. This person is immune to time and death.
Okay, hold on. Immune to death? Now we're getting into the superhero territory.
It's tied to the alchemical mercury of the wise. But look, they don't just leave this floating in the clouds, they map it. They connect these three types of humans, the material, the psychic, and the pneumatic to a specific psychocosmic map, a Ptolemaic cosmology.
So it's a literal map of the universe, but it's also a map of our minds?
Exactly. They describe the natural world as this geocentric space of compressed physical matter. It's the domain of Helikoi. It's governed by time, the zodiac, and constant flux. It's basically the world of the Hylikos we just discussed.
It's the shadow play. The text calls it a mirage that transitions from eternal ideas into the illusory world of our senses.
So the physical world is just a bad special effect?
Essentially, yes. But then you move up to the heavenly world. This is where the psychikoi are. It includes the orbits of the sun, moon, and all the planets, up to Saturn, and then the starry heavens, the Mazloth.
And they say these aren't just rocks in space?
No, they're drivers of living minds or souls. They are instruments and conduits of divine light. They pour numinous influences down into the material world.
So, astrology isn't just what's your sign, it's actually, how is the cosmic plumbing affecting my mood?
Precisely. The authors say this is the occult teaching behind esoteric astrology. It's the space where divine ideas are imprinted onto the malleable matter of the universe.
And then there's the top tier. The divine or supercelestial world. The pleroma.
The uncreated perfection. This is where the pneumatikoi live. It's a state of self-luminous existence. No time, no change, just infinite expansion of pure knowledge and enjoyment.
That sounds overwhelming. Like looking directly into a sun that never sets.
It is, and they tie it all together with a concept I love, the catena aureae, the golden chain.
The golden chain. Sounds like something you'd find at a high-end jewelry store.
But no, it's the connection between all these layers. The authors are making a huge claim here. In the art of magic, everything is turned toward this connectedness. They say the success of a ritual or a prayer depends entirely on the sympathy of the connected forces.
Wait, so they're saying a simple, modest spell to grant a wish is actually the exact same thing as the highest angelic mysteries?
That's exactly what they claim. They say it's all one sacred continuum. Whether it's a vibration in the elements or a communion with the divine, it's all part of the same harmonia mundi.
That actually makes a lot of sense. If the chain is unbroken, then the bottom has to be connected to the top.
Talk about low stakes. I just wanted more coffee, but I accidentally tapped into the cosmic resonance of the spears.
But then, the book takes a sharp turn. It moves from this beautiful mathematical golden chain into something much more scandalous. Chapter 2. The Children of the Heavens.
Oh boy, here comes the forbidden part.
They start with a quote from Maimonides about the unfathomable mystery of Azazel, and then they go straight for the jugular, the fall of the angels in the Old Testament.
The sons of God seeing the daughters of men. The classic setup for a cosmic disaster.
Right. They point to Genesis, where these beings took wives and gave birth to the Nephilim, the giants. And they argue that this isn't just a myth, but a hidden truth about the early evolutionary development of humanity.
So, humans didn't just evolve, we were interbred with something else? That's a hell of a way to start a family tree.
It's a pedigree of transgression, like we said earlier.
And look at the evidence they bring in. They talk about the Book of Enoch, which was supposedly lost but preserved in Ethiopia. They even mention a recent discovery, the angel scroll found near the Dead Sea.
The text says this scroll describes an angel watcher traveling through the heavens and learning what exactly?
Astrology, weather prediction, the use of plants and stones for healing, even techniques for traveling through time.
Traveling through time? Now the book is officially competing with Marble.
But there's one more detail in this fragment that is provocative. They say the scroll mentions God under the Canaanite name El, and they refer to Satan as Belial, which they translate as the fire or light of God.
The light of God? That's a massive reframe. That's not the adversary, that's something else entirely.
It brings us right back to our theme, the shadow history. The idea that what we call evil might just be a misunderstood piece of the original divine light.
That reframe is a lot to process for one sitting. Let's take a quick breather.
Agreed. My brain needs a minute to recalibrate.